You're desperate for me to watch more horror films, Phil. It's just not going to happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Phil Marriott. If you are into music and movies, this is the channel for you. So get subscribing if you haven't already. And at the end of this video, like it, assuming you have liked the video. Look who it is, it's Sean Vickers.
I'm back.
You are back. We are boys on film.
Exactly, I'm back. I've had a fun all summer. Back in the films, Phil.
What a weird thing, because we are covering the BFI London Film Festival, and just to prove that, I have got my lanyard. I'm one of those types with the lanyard.
Ooh, it's quite a sensitive topic, that, Phil.
Yeah, you didn't get one.
But I've got a digital one.
Hashtag printer's not working.
Hashtag printer's still not working.
That's all right, because if you don't have a lanyard, you've always got the brochure.
Great, I'll just take the brochure in. Let me in.
Did you do what I did and went through with the bingo dabber and just dabbed every film that you wanted to see?
Yeah, I went through and there's just a whole bunch of like stars. And then my husband went through it and then he put the letter R next to certain things. And we were broadly aligned, actually.
That's what we do in this house with Radio Times at Christmas.
It's not broke, don't fix it, Phil.
Exactly. So the movie today, and we are covering a lot of movies, obviously. So if you haven't subscribed, check out the playlist, which is on the top of the screen somewhere. Probably floating over Sean's head, actually, somewhere. There we go. Fabulous. But yes, today we are talking about a film that I haven't seen, but you have, Sean. So I'm guessing that you're going to give us all the info that we need, all the nuggets of information. It's The Taking. I got to quickly jump in before you give us all the wealth of information that you have on this. I'm a bit annoyed that I haven't actually seen this, because this documentary follows other documentaries that this filmmaker has made about Psycho, Alien, and The Exorcist. 3 films that I adore. What's wrong with me?
So the director is a chap called Alexandre O, Philippe. And he usually fanboys out on a bunch of stuff like you said, like Alien and loads of stuff with like George Lucas. So it's very interesting that you didn't see this film, because this is actually quite a different angle for him.
I'm kicking myself here under the table quite hard.
Kick yourself harder, because you missed a real gem here. The documentary is called The Taking, and it really focuses on what has become the kind of mythological and social meaning of Monument Valley. Now, Monument Valley we all have in our minds, which is basically where it's probably the fantasy of the Old West or the Wild West, but it's Navajo land, and it's basically where a lot of cowboy films by John Ford were set in the 30s and 40s and a little later. And it's those structures that you will always remember from the Wild West, which is those kind of bitterns that kind of come out of the ground. And what they've come to symbolize actually as like true America and what it meant when those films were made and what it stands for. And so it's a real, for me, it was a real gem of a documentary for people that love films. It was a bit of a nerd out, but it was really fab.
I'm loving the sound of that, but I'm presuming that you haven't seen the previous documentaries that this filmmaker's made, because obviously you're not into horror, so you probably wouldn't have much interest in that. But saying that, I suppose if you have seen those documentaries without having to put yourself through all the scares and the gore, it could open your eyes to watching more horror films.
You're desperate for me to watch more horror films, Phil. It's just not going to happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. But this is great, because what I loved about it was the mythology about Monument Valley and what it came to stand for. So, you know, all the films that John Ford did in the early 30s and 40s have this idea of like the patriot, the white family in a coach who are non-harming and peace-loving, traveling across the Wild West, and the indigenous people seen as the threat and the danger. And that's how a lot of those John Ford films are positioned, like Cheyenne Autumn or any of those kind of films. And I think it's amazing what it comes to stand for and how people perceived indigenous people through the lens of those films. And in addition to that, the idea of landscape, so the idea of having Monument Valley as a backdrop and how filmmakers use landscape as an extra character or as a device in films, I found really, really kind of like, it was really, really interesting.
And that's not to be overlooked either, because obviously if you're watching a film in the cinema and it is beautifully shot, that's going to be a hugely important thing about that film. It's like one of the factors that, you know, is essential, isn't it? But I'm presuming that obviously this is a bit of a change of direction for him because the previous 3 films have been about horror movies. But saying that, it's still about filmmaking, isn't it? So there's that connection.
It's still about the process of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And really like how Monument Valley pops up in many, many films. You know, it's been used in like Westworld. It's been used in... It's actually on the poster of Thelma and Louise. Even though it's not even in Thelma and Louise, they actually jump off the Grand Canyon. It's quite amazing how they use this symbolism of Monument Valley across filmmaking and what it stands for.
I'm wishing I'd seen it now. Thanks, Sean.
What can I say? I pick a good one. I always pick a good one.
I'm the loser.
Not for me to say, Phil.
So star rating for the taking.
I'm going to give it... You know I'm a hard marker, but I'm
Yeah.
going to give it a 4.
Wow.
That's actually 8.
Yeah.
It's 4.
So there we go.
I've given it 8 out of 5.
I don't know when it's released. Obviously, we've seen it. Well, you've seen it at the BFI London Film Festival. I'm presuming it will be perhaps early
It's
next
starting
year.
to trickle through. Yeah, there's a lot of good reviews about it being at a lot of the festivals. It's done the rounds and it's starting to come to general release. So if you are a film lover, you like something a little deeper, you've got a passion for the process and landscapes, then this one is definitely for you.
Amazing. So we are Boys on Film. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back very, very soon. We have got content to be churned out on an hourly rate. Well, probably not hourly, probably daily. But who knows? We could surprise you.
knows?
Yeah. See you next time.
I do.